It's official, no more guessing. The FC26 deep dive videos and pitch notes are out, as well as the beta. I don't know about the latter, but I can definitely go over the deep dive and give my thoughts on them, as there are several promising changes that won't make me feel like I'm buying the same game again in a best case scenario. And no, I won't bore you with every single detail, just the important features, because otherwise this video would be 2 hours long. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, because if we get 200 subs by early September, I'll do a 2025-26 jersey giveaway. I know I'm subbed already just by looking at some of these beauties. Anyways, let's get into it. To kick things off, the trailer emphasizes on making gameplay better. Wait, so what have you been doing for the past 5 years? Because it sounds like a whole lot of nothing. Have they not been listening to the feedback from years ago? Do they not care about their community? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if nothing changes and they put this promise off for another year. But I guess we'll have to find out when September comes. So to make it easy, I'll put each of the gameplay fundamentals and game modes in their own sections, like shooting, passing, etc., and other aspects of the game as well. For those complaining about realism in the game, you have 2 modes now, competitive and authentic. The first is basically for online modes, so Ultimate Team and Pro Clubs, where your players are faster and more responsive, giving more of an arcade mode feel. The second, however, will be slower, kind of what you'd see on TV, and can be used in offline modes. Players are a little more prone to mistakes here, but that's just football, isn't it? You can only score goals while shooting, so this category would be one of the most important for me. Starting off, shots near the net will use less of a wind-up, giving the keeper less time to react. I actually want to try this out to see if this will make a big difference, because I think it will. I mean, when low driven shot came out, I didn't think it'd be OP, but it's better than finesse, which was the strat in the last 2 years. And speaking of low shots, they brought back the manual input with the B button twice, or circle if you're a PlayStation person. Imagine a low driven finesse shot. I already have nightmares thinking about a weekend league full of those types of goals.
Check it out. Ah! Whoa, what's the matter? What the hell is that? A killer robot monster?
Here's the full list of low driven shot inputs. I'll try to memorize all this, or I may have a list next to my monitor. Either way, it'll take time getting used to, but that's probably a me thing. Okay, and for those green time abusers, it might be over for y'all unless you can master precision shooting, as they removed time finishing, because in simple words, it was kinda broken. But really? I have to master precision shooting now to get my maximum goal output? When I move my left stick 2 notches to the left of the desired aim spot, the ball misses the net by like 10 feet. Every single time. There's gotta be another way. Or maybe I just suck. Who knows? According to the pitch notes, the ball will now stay closer to the player when dribbling, and the speed for how the players dribble will depend on their height. So if you're a shorter winger, you'll tend to do better than the bigger players. It's like real life in a way. All of the best dribblers aren't 6-foot+ beasts, so this may make a tiny difference, but can have a huge impact. They removed agile dribbling due to low usage, which makes me think I have never knowingly used that, so fire away I guess. Jog dribbling is improved, so you feel faster when performing, which is another tiny change that makes the game feel better. They also mentioned skills would be easier to perform, as you used to have to spam your right stick like crazy while pressing a bunch of other buttons. Hopefully you'll see more skills in my future gameplay. I'm gonna be honest, there isn't much here that appeals to me, but from the comparison video I saw, the tiki-taka style of passing is a lot faster, and if the distance is short enough, certain first touch animations will take place where you'll move a little faster. Crosses are most likely going to be in front of the player instead of on the head, which is a huge power move for me, as I suck with heading the ball and I get to perform more volleys, which I'm better at and is actually more fun. In my opinion, defending was pretty broken last year, except for a couple of things. One of them being that the ball will go anywhere but back to the defender when you make a tackle, which really costs some bad goals. I know because I've been on the giving and receiving end, and when you score a goal off that, I bet you don't think my skill has led me to this point. You simply got lucky. Also, when that happens, I can only imagine the opponent with either a smashed controller, monitor, or a hole in the wall. That will happen much less, or hopefully never, both in game and in your room. Blocks will deflect away from danger, and interceptions will actually stay with the defending player. Now, when you're on the receiving end of the tackle, you'll feel it a lot more than previous games, which I'm glad is a change, as we won't have to see any more feeble tackles that still end up at the opponent's feet. Goalkeepers can either make or break your game, and a big part of it includes deflections. You think, big save, only for the ball to bounce back to the opponent. And don't get me started on the deflector playstyle, bro. That might be the worst playstyle in the game, as it never does what it's gonna do when it's needed. Sure, it'll activate when like there's nobody around, and instead of like, I don't know, catching the ball, you just play it out for a corner. So now when the keeper makes a save, it will go 3 places: out of bounds, to a teammate, or any empty space. Other changes include better AI positioning for the keeper, and I've also noticed in my recent games that during 1v1 situations, my keeper often dives the wrong way. Hopefully that'll be the last time that happens. You can play as a goalkeeper in Rush where you couldn't last year. I'm pretty sure that won't change anything, as I never knew somebody that would willingly be a keeper when you can score goals and complete more objectives that way. That might just be me though. Here are the new controls for diving, challenging for a cross, and rushing for a 1v1. The main focus on movement is based around one word, and that is sluggish. Players will expect their team to feel more fluid from now on, or that's one of the 1,000 promises we'll be getting. The big thing I noticed was the balance of pace between the attacker and the defender. I cannot tell you how much of a problem this was for the past 3 years, as I can never feel so sure about breaking away with my 80+ pace attacker only for a bronze defender to clamp me up. So hopefully, I actually stand a chance without using explosive sprints. There are now 3 acceleration types: explosive for shorter players, lengthy for those big players, and controlled for those who don't meet either requirements here. As you can see, each acceleration type has a minimum, a strength minimum for lengthy, and agility for explosive. I didn't pay too much attention to this in FC25, but it seemed there were so many different acceleration types that it got super confusing, and they needed to bring back only 3. Less is more, they say. We'll see how this goes. The physical aspect of this game is going to be reworked, so shielding is a lot more enjoyable. In last year's game, the player when shielding would get overrun easily, but that is going to change in FC26, where the player takes more initiative to win the ball back. Overall, there are improved physics for both the shielder and the shieldee. Bonus points for shielding for players with the Enforcer or Enforcer Plus playstyle, as they become much more effective. The biggest thing I think for improving physicality is the new box out mechanic, where you can basically push your opponent to win the ball. I just know this is going to get abused like crazy, and a lot of people will be calling for fouls because of this. But then again, EA have designed this game solely around feedback, so it's something you guys may have asked for, so you can't really talk. They have also reworked fatigue, where the player you control will not lose stamina. If so, people are just going to use a pacey player and sprint through the whole team, because guess what? Pacey players are meant to bolt down the sideline and score sweaty goals. If this is what it sounds like, then EA are going to patch this pretty soon. This only applies to competitive gameplay only. Authentic is just the same as before. As highly requested, there are new playstyles and player roles incoming. Playstyles include Enforcer, Inventive, Game Changer, Precision Header, and Aerial Fortress. Enforcer is for players with good shielding on the ball, so for players like Victor Gyökeres and Erling Haaland. Both Inventive and Game Changer is basically like Flare and Trivela combined, the first for passing and the other for finishing purposes. But why are they separate though? Can't you just combine Flare and Trivela to be one playstyle? Speaking of useless playstyles, Flare, Aerial, Power Header, and Trivela have been removed. Aerial Fortress is, you guessed it, Aerial on steroids. Instead of being abused in the finishing aspect, it's given more of a defensive focus, like winning 50-50s in the air. You'll see like your arms being used to like nudge the player off more. You don't just like jump up. They position themselves so it's easier to win the ball. Instead of Precision Header, I guess is meant for heading the ball better. I don't really see a difference in this one, but maybe that'll be different in game. New player roles include Box Crasher for center mids, Wide Back for center backs, Ball Playing Keeper for goalkeepers, and Inverted Wing Back for fullbacks. All exciting changes and even more ways to have your players play. In career mode, people like to create their own storylines, but this year, EA does that for you. You can pick whether you're trying to avoid relegation or challenge for Europe. With this, there will be objectives you'll have to complete during your manager/player career for rewards. This can be something simple, like navigating through 5 matches, to something a little harder, like going a certain amount of matches with a maximum number of losses, all the way to getting a historic triple promotion. Yes, I may have taken that from the deep dive video. In creating a club, there is a manager market, which includes their footballing philosophy, likelihood of getting hired, and stuff like that in case you decide to sack your current manager. This is probably the most unexpected addition, and that is unexpected events. Someone could get sick from the canteen food, or fans can set off fireworks outside the team hotel, making your players fatigue. Then you'd have to make decisions on who to play based on your player's energy levels. Hey, they listened to us when we said we wanted the game to be realistic, but now I'm hearing my star player could be drafted into World War III. You can choose the frequency for these events, but personally, I'm having a lot of these, as some of these can be really positive, like fans donating to the club. The likelihood of that happening, I don't think it's very high, but the likelihood of something really stupid, I think that one's much higher, you know? I'm really excited for career mode, and I'll definitely spend more time on it than FC25. I only stopped playing my player career mode because it got wiped while I was trying to reset the save, and I didn't know, unfortunately. There are many exciting changes for Ultimate Team as well, and this is probably the one I'm going to be the most picky about, as I spend all my time on here and I basically have no life. So first off, tournaments are back in Ultimate Team, so you can compete for various prizes. There will be a limited amount of entries, and these tournaments refresh every single season to keep you refreshed for what's next. So different themes and different requirements will take place. There's a new game mode called Gauntlet, where you play 5 games, and in each game you must have a different squad of different requirements to test your squad depth. And unlike tournaments, you won't get eliminated, but the more you win, the better the rewards will get. I think this is fun, especially if you don't want to keep playing with the same 11 players all the time, but don't want to feel any pressure to win your games. And each gauntlet will refresh every 2 weeks. Live events are basically replacing friendlies, so you'll need to meet certain requirements like chemistry, nation, or league, much like the other 2 game modes I've mentioned. Objectives are now easier to claim, as they've been streamlined into the friendlies menu, as they'll display there and can be claimed at the same place, so you don't have to go back to the objectives menu. This actually applies to every single game mode in Ultimate Team. Quick correction there, and a positive one as well. And so for each friendly, there will be the objectives that correspond to them. If you got confused by what I was saying, hopefully that will clear the air, you know? The menu is now designed into different categories. So you have playing online, playing against the AI, and then playing against your friend, so couch play. For all you sweats out there, which may include me to a certain extent, you can sign up for FC Pro competitions if you have the balls and really think you can make money doing this. Quick disclaimer, this is for PS5 and Xbox Series X only, or Xbox Series S actually. And all I gotta say is justice for the PC players, man. We crossplay with the new gen consoles anyway, so what difference does it make? I wanna try too, bro. There are these things called bounties and rivals, which are little objectives that apply to your upcoming game. So you can earn packs, coins, season XP, etc. for like each game. If you lose a lot of games in a row, you will get relegated, and there will be a point where the checkpoints won't save you. So in this case, if I lose more than 2 games, then I drop down a checkpoint, which may eventually lead to me being relegated. And to be honest, I was surprised that this wasn't implemented already, as a lot of other games have demotion protection, and if you still lose, then yeah, you kind of deserve to go down, something like that. Foot Champs is getting a huge rework, as it's now only for those divisions 5 and above. Meanwhile, Foot Challengers is for division 6 and below. Both will still get to experience the intensity Weekend League has to offer, playing against those of similar skill, and obviously champs will have better rewards. And the most important thing about this is no more qualifiers. And to be honest, they've been making it so easy to qualify that they made it so you just need to win 1 out of 5 games, and occasionally you have somebody nice that gives you a free win. So this is a good change. There are going to be massive changes to evolutions, as goalkeeper evos are coming, which are long overdue. This should have been something in FC24, I think, but maybe something like that takes a long time to develop, especially because the goalkeepers, they're not like regular players. I'm not the game dev, so maybe they're right to take this long, and maybe these will be like super overpowered. Repeatable evos instead of the 2 separate ones. Each one has a limit of how many you can do, and this is probably my favorite evo change, as you don't have to replace the cosmetic unless the evo description says otherwise. I can't tell you how many times I've hesitated to upgrade upgrade my cards because of this reason, especially since I've spent like 50k for like a team of the season cosmetic from like a couple years back, and like I don't want to replace it just so I can get a little stat upgrade, you know. Overall, these are W changes to Ultimate Team, and by the way, these are not final changes as there will be a lot more to come, but overall I'm really excited and hopefully not to be super disappointed on what's to come. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video. So the TLDR of this upcoming FC 26 is it'll be more fun to play, it'll be faster, and you will not feel like smashing your whole setup because your players decide to do some dumb stuff when you cannot control them. Like literally, like this desk I have right here, I've probably like smashed it like 50 times or so, and it's like it's really wobbly. So hopefully my desk will not get any wobblier. That's all I will say, and hopefully we can actually have fun playing this video game. I know it sounds like a foreign concept now. Everyone's just grinding for rewards, and we forget what the main purpose of playing this is. But yeah, I digress. Like, subscribe, comment. What are you excited about for FC 26? I want to get as much community input as possible. Don't forget the 200 subs by early September, because you could win a 2025-26 jersey of your choice if I pick you to win. So yeah, have a good day and peace.